PSYCH is an easy-to-use tool to change subconscious beliefs. Those are the beliefs that you really call the source of all your habits in your life. So most people find it difficult to change habits, but with PSYCH it's really very easy. Well, PSYCH is based on a lot of neuroscience research, actually. Left-right brain integration, it's called split brain research sometimes, or brain dominance theory. The idea is to reduce the resistance to internalizing a new idea. You know, most of us have used positive thinking, willpower, and a lot of effort to change our lives, whereas PSYCH first of all reduces the resistance to the new idea and then internalizes it very easily through various processes that integrate the left and right hemisphere of the brain. PSYCH is really a result of a series of intuitive moments that I had back in 1988 and 89. It was really actually a frustrating time for me because what I was doing wasn't working very well as a psychotherapist. I wasn't able to help people in the way that I really wanted to. And so as I sort of just surrendered one day in a sense of opening up to some new ideas, these new ideas were actually given to me in a series of intuitive downloads. PSYCH has changed my life profoundly. First of all, from a personal and professional point of view, I was more effective as a therapist, which is what I wanted to do. That's what I was doing professionally. And personally, I used the work with myself, profoundly changed my life. I'd say my level of joy in life went exponentially from sort of mediocrity, sort of the people living lives of quiet desperation in society, to really having a fulfilled, passionate life about what I do. Oh, I'd say it's in the thousands of people. I really haven't kept track of exactly how many people are involved, but now many, many more people are experiencing PSYCH because in the beginning I was the only one doing PSYCH in a private practice. Ultimately I began to teach the work to other people, but what really, really got PSYCH going was introducing other people to teaching PSYCH, and now it's taught worldwide. Well, many results, ranging from physiological results, disease processes that were interrupted or actually just dissolved, certain aspects of physiology changing because there's a very strong correlation between the mind and the body, and most of the neuroscience that we are privy to these days substantiates that connection. And on a personal level, more joy, more happiness, better relationships with other people, better relationships with myself and my own spirit. I think the impact would be profound. I think that when people's belief systems change, their behaviors change. When the behaviors change, the external world changes. So there's kind of a paradox here. By changing what's within each of us, we'll change the outside world. What we're busy trying to do is regulate or change the outside world to accommodate every problem we see coming along. That's not the way to do it. The problem's actually in here. You change in here, you change the problem out there. Beliefs play a profound role in what children learn because they begin learning long before they're children. Actually, in utero is when the first learning begins to take place, and that's a biological learning. That's a learning that you could call nature's Head Start program, as a biologist friend of mine calls it, Bruce Lipton. He talks about gestation being a period of getting ready to be born, and actually you're learning what your environment's going to be like before you are born. So once you're born into that environment, then all of the information that you have begun with during gestation is moved into the world. Then that's reinforced over and over again until about age 5 or 6 years old. Mostly what you're doing is learning how to survive in your environment. Those learnings become belief systems, and those belief systems then follow you for the rest of your life, unless you've got an effective way to change the ones that aren't useful to you later on. You get beliefs early on, for instance, that you have no value, that you're not really an important person, or you're not capable in the world of doing much of anything. And it's not that parents are deliberately programming their children in this way. They're just hand-me-down beliefs. They come from their parents, who got them from their parents. So we hear things like, oh, you know, you're slow, you're not going to be able to succeed in school. What you do is never good enough, you should try harder. All those kinds of things actually ultimately debilitate kids. They go into a school situation already at a disadvantage, then their belief systems are printed out through behaviors, reinforced by teachers, other students, administration. When that changes, everything changes. Well, first and foremost, to change the way that structure and system impacts them as teachers. Because if all they feel is stress every day, the human body was never designed to handle chronic stress. Acute stress, yes, that's fight or flight response. You know, something happens, you need to gather up your resources and take off, you do, or you stand your ground and you fight. But in a school situation, in life in general, in fact, there seems to be stress all the time because people are under such pressure to perform, to get things done in a system that really is counterproductive oftentimes to getting anything done. And I think we're trying to fix the problem at the wrong level. We're trying to fix it at the physical level when we haven't dealt with the subconscious level, the patterns of belief which drive our behaviors, which create perceptions, which actually either going to change the problem into a solution or we're just going to stay with the problem. For parents to know PSYCH K, a tool like this, to change their own subconscious beliefs, which then of course impact their children quite unconsciously. They're not aware of their activities. They may regret what they say to a child or do with the child at some point, but they don't even know why they did it, and they don't know how to stop it. And that's the frustration. The really, really important thing here is to exchange habits that aren't working for creating productive, alive, passionate children into beliefs that will do that. And you can do that with PSYCH K. You can not only teach it to the parents, so we start with a healthier foundation of beliefs and perceptions that are passed on to the child, but this work can be taught to children. I'd say maybe they need to have a focus long enough to be able to pull it off, but ideally I've taught children 9 years old, 10 years old, and they love this work because it's not all about talking, it's about doing it, it's about change, and it's fun. With superintendents at this point, it would be a good idea for them to contact me directly. I'd love to discuss the possibilities of how this element of their whole world might enhance what they're trying to do. I don't have all the answers to the school system's dilemma, but I have one that I think is a piece of the puzzle that when placed properly in the whole matrix of the problem would have a profound effect on all other aspects of education.